All
There
right.
you go.
Thank you, Yamini. A hub of innovation with institutions like Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, a thriving downtown, luxurious vineyards, and a citizenry that's engaged in grassroots movements striving for social justice and equity. The city of Livermore, I've found in the last few days, especially as we've been researching and learning more about Livermore, has many facets and a whole lot to offer. And we are joined today by a few um, small business owners from the Livermore area. So I welcome all of you. And without, taking much more time, I would like to just start with, hearing from them. And I would like first to introduce Vivian, who is from the Levitation Salon, owned by Lindsay Fernandez. And I would love it if Vivian could tell us a little bit about the salon, as well as the journey that they've had, bringing this small business to life.
Yes, hi there. I'm so sorry that you cannot see me. I'm trying to figure this out. I will let you know that I just started at the salon about a month ago. So this is my first Zoom call on this computer. So hence I should have been more prepared. I apologize. I will be more prepared for next time. But I will let you know, Lindsay started this salon. She's been in the industry for 16 years. She's opened the doors January 2nd of 2019, so we're fairly new salon. She wanted to create a salon that the atmosphere was not only pleasing for the clients, but also for her staff. That was important to her. The reason she had she said the only reason she was able to open up the salon was because she had the support of her fellow stylists, which they had, a group of them had come from another salon, and so they were the ones who really encouraged her to open it up, and we're backing her all the way. That's why she was able to open it up with their support. It's a beautiful salon. We have 17 stations. It's a full service salon with an amazing staff. She wanted to create the most posh, high-end salon in the Bay Area with the best customer service. That's very important to her. I know even during when times are normal, they serve wine and champagne and beer. So it's a very, very luxurious salon, and it's beautifully decorated with chandeliers, and everything is beautiful. So I'm really enjoying this environment working here. Her goal is her goal is for anyone to step in the salon to feel comfortable and feel like they're really well taken care of. That's her goal. So she wants people to feel like, there's no other salon that's going to give them better customer service and make them feel any better, feel and look better. So, so that's pretty much, that's all I have pretty much, because I'm, again, new, but it is a beautiful salon, and I look forward to, working with her and, creating more business for her in the future when things get back to normal. Yeah.
I just wanted to say also that, Vivian, I noticed on your website that you guys are doing curbside pickup for beauty products that you all sell, right?
That we sell products, yes, we can sell products now that even if we're not officially open, we sell all types of, well, one brand of skincare called Lyra, and then we have the hair products called Kerastase, Orbe, and Shuamara. So all of those are really wonderful lines of products, high-end, and definitely with great results for anyone for their hair and skin.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be a tough time for all of you through COVID and shelter in place. And so I wish you all the best. And thank you so much for coming today. It really
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to hand it over now to Aishwarya to introduce our next guest. Aishwarya, take it away.
And thank you all for being here. Before I introduce our next guest, I wanted to say educating a young mind takes a big heart. And our next guest is Shruti Agarwal, owner and founder of Shruti's Daycare. A little bit about Shruti. She moved to the US in 2004, and she has experience of living in various parts of the world. She's lived in Europe, Singapore, and also on other coasts in the US. And she really wants to bring all that experience while she enriches her child's life. She is also the president of Valley Family Childcare Association in the Tri-Valley. With that, Shruti, I'd like to welcome you and give you the floor. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you, Deepti, for having me here. Like Aishwarya said, I have moved to the US in 2004, but moved to Bay Area 3 years back in 2017 and was licensed that very year. I can with pride say that I am the owner of Shruti's Family Daycare, which is on Vasco, off Vasco, near Croce Elementary School, and we take care of kids 6 weeks to 13 years. And right now, with what's going on in the market, the demand for school-age childcare is a lot, and that's what we are offering for families up in Livermore or Tri-Valley. And I'm also the president for Valley Family Childcare Association, which is an association for daycare providers. It was basically in Tri-Valley, but now we've opened up the floor to all of Alameda County. So anybody in Alameda County wants to be a part of the association can join. So that's my small story.
That's fantastic.
And if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer.
I think that was great, Shruti. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for what you do.
I did have a question for you, Shruti. So you said that you are offering school-age kids daycare services. So because I'm hearing from a lot of parents who are having to go to work, but they have older children and no place for them to take them because a lot of daycares don't serve beyond 6 years. So you are offering your services beyond 6 years.
Yes, I am actually till 13 years. I have a son who is 7 and is in grade 2. And I, as a parent, thought it was how difficult it would be for a parent to go full-time work and do education both at the same time. Because when I'm a provider watching kids, it was still difficult for me to do in the spring was to do his education and watch the kids. And I thought, why not, if I have the spots, which due to COVID, we all providers have a lot of spots open because parents pulled out we lost 90% of our business, 80 to 90%. So we have a lot of spots, and that's where I thought that why not help families who actually need that kind of support. So in my daycare, there are 2 separate sections, and I don't know if I can show you, but I can show you like this. So, and I am in home, so this is my house. So this part, I am trying to convert it into the school age kids area, and the other part, I'll see if I can take you there. My stuff. I have done as for infants and toddlers of all age groups, and then they can play together. We have a little spill, but this is like how the other area is. So I have right now currently my kids who are here. So we have separated the areas. We are trying to get all the stuff. For school age kids, we are maintaining social distancing, doing masks and everything when required, and sanitizing and cleaning and all that Alameda County Public Health, Community Care Licensing, and CDC has requirements for.
And I can only imagine how much work that is for you as a provider to.
Oh, it is tons and tons of work, but we love it, and we want the kids to be healthy, so we do it with a smile on our face. We don't have a problem with that. But yes, we do definitely want parents to understand that it is a safer place, you know. Not all parents can juggle 2 jobs together, and taking meetings back to back and teaching your kids full time at the same time when you have a meeting is next to impossible. So just like you trust your teachers and send your kids to school, trust your daycare provider. 9 out of 10, or I should say 10 out of 10 daycare providers will go beyond their capacity to help your child. Maintain a safe environment for them. So trust them is what I would say, you know, and that's what we could do. And I also tell all my parents, if you go to the beach, please tell me. I need to know if you've gone to the beach so that I can watch out for symptoms. But there are certain things, and parents do understand that it is difficult, because if I go down or if I get a case, it's not just me going down, but the whole program goes down with me. So they are also taking all the precautions, and that's what is important right now.
Thank you for that, and thank you for your advocacy on behalf of all daycare owners. I think that's important for us to hear that perspective. Thank you so much, Shruti. So next, I would like to invite Rosie. She is a winemaker of Rosa Fiero Cellars, and she almost didn't make it today. So I'm really excited that she's here. And she's a badass, and I think I'll let her tell you why she is, because and you will agree if when you know what she's been doing just before she came to this meeting.
Yes, thank you for inviting me to the meeting. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay, good. Yeah, I just came from a forklift class and learned to drive a forklift today. So yay, I passed and I didn't run anyone over or anything. So that was good. I didn't run into any cars. So my name's Rosie. I go by Rosie. My winery is called Rosa Fiero Cellars. That's my real name, Rosa. I have a winery here in Livermore. I started my winery in 2000. I started making wine in 2009. I started my winery in 2014. My winery is on South Vasco Road, for any of you who know Livermore. It's in a row called The Block, which is full of, it's a big long warehouse with a bunch of different wineries in it. And yeah, I make, I'm the owner and the winemaker and the accountant and the janitor and pretty much everything. And so I'm just moved here I just opened up 2 weeks ago. And I have a nice patio now, so I can open up out on the patio with COVID and everything going on. It's been kind of challenging, but, and I'm just getting into the swing, moving into harvest right now. So yeah, trying to sort of figure out what I'm going to make this year in terms of wines. I make about anywhere between 500 to 1,000 cases a year. So I'm just small boutique. And all my fruit is from Livermore. I have one wine that I make from Napa, my Merlot, but everything else I make is from Livermore, from really small vineyards that are less than 12 acres.
So what was it that prompted you to become a vintner, and what did you do in your before that?
Oh, so before I was actually a legal assistant. I was a practice group manager at a really large law firm in San Francisco, and I had this beautiful desk on the Embarcadero Center, Embarcadero 1 on the 33rd floor. I worked with we did aviation product liability law. So it was all airplanes and helicopter crashes. Litigation, and I was at the same time, running my winery. And then all of a sudden, when I opened a tasting room for a whole year, I was working 7 days in a row, pretty much 12 to 14 hours a day, because I was working during the week in the city. And then on the Friday, I would take Bart into Livermore and then open my winery up at night. And so then I had my winery open all weekend with the tasting room. And I just, it just got to the point where I was in the tasting room one day and I literally almost passed out of exhaustion while I was talking to a customer. So I was like, yeah, I really need to make a choice. Like, am I really going to, what do I, so it was actually pretty miraculous. I was at work one day, my practice group left to go to another law firm, and I got an email, basically right after they told me that, I got an email, and it was an incentive package to leave the law firm I was at. So it offered like 6 months pay and benefits for 6 months. And I mean, I signed it in like 30 seconds and sent it back. So that's kind of what I did. So then I left my job, and then I, to run my winery full time. So that's what I've been doing and that was in December. So I've been doing this now since December full time. So.
And I'm just curious, like, how has COVID affected like your business, and like what changes have you had to make?
We can't pour any wines or do wine tastings inside of the winery. So, and the biggest problem we're having right now is, in order to even offer wine tasting or wine service to customers, for them to come and sit down, we have to do it outdoors. So luckily we have a patio here. But the other thing is that Alameda County is requiring that you serve food with the tastings, and they have to be on the same ticket as so you can't say, oh, there's a food truck right there, you can go get food. You have to like ring it up on your own register. So, but it has to be provided by a caterer, like a food truck or a restaurant or something like that. So then that just creates all kinds of problems of just shuffling around and trying to find, I've been doing these really nice charcuterie trays and serving those, but people really don't want to pay, $20 for a charcuterie tray when they're, wine tasting. And also if they just come from another winery and they have to have food there, then it's like, you can't go wine tasting from winery to winery when there's this meal requirement. It gets really, really expensive. And so it's cut my business down a lot, but a lot of people I'm still able to maintain because I'm selling, I have a lot of case discounts that I'm doing right now. And a lot of people just, want to come out, and we space the tables apart, and we're lucky to have this big tree with all the shades. So people could come out and sit down and just really relax and enjoy themselves. But, I've got to drag all the tables outside, which is just quite an exhausting thing to do every day, and then drag them all back in. So it's 7 huge tables plus, 4 chairs for each table. And, and then you have to be careful. You have to wipe everything down and make sure everything's clean. You have to pour everything in different glasses, so you have more glassware to deal with. And even just moving to our new facility, I just moved to a new facility from another one. And, when I rented this facility, I thought it was like at the beginning of March, right before it broke out. And so I signed this lease, and then I thought, oh, it'll be over with by May, right? Yeah, but it's not. So just trying to kind of deal with that, like less, obviously sales are down. So it's challenging.
And that seems to be the story with so many, and it's really, disheartening to hear it. But I applaud the resilience and hard work that all of you put in. And thank you for joining us here today. It's really been great to listen to you and to hear your perspective.
Thank you.
Aishwarya, I turn it over to you now to introduce our next entrepreneur, Brittany.
And thank you, Rosa. I just wanted to quickly say I feel your pain. I own a brick and mortar business in Dublin, and I feel your pain. Let me know if there's anything. We can get through this together is what I can say. And thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. I will be sure to come and taste your wine for sure.
Yes, everyone, please come.
Yes, we will. With that, I would like to share a quote from Ansel Adams. The single most important component of a camera is the 12 inches behind it. And today we have that important component with us, Brittany Kick. She's the owner of Brittany Kick Photography. She was introduced to she got the love of photography from her mom. And that makes me so happy as a mom to a 17-year-old, just to see Brittany make something out of a passion that she, was introduced to by her mom is fantastic. There are also a lot of fun facts about Brittany. I'm going to share a few, and then I'm going to let her do the rest of the talking. She's a feminist. She's an ally. She's an activist. We love that. She's the Director of Community Engagement and Education for Livermore Pride. Yay. She got her bachelor's in psychology at Cal Poly, and she loves baking with her 6-year-old daughter. Last but not the least, she served for 3 years as a member of AmeriCorps. So thank you for that, Brittany. Thank you for all of that. With that, I give you the floor. Welcome to the Livermore Rollout, and take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I did get the love of photography from my mom. I come from multiple generations of women who were stay-at-home parents and women who were stay-at-home moms. And photography was her escape, like something that was just for her. And when I had my daughter, I was in a forced choice situation where daycare was too expensive. My degree wasn't going to get me much of a job that would also pay for daycare, considering I lost my voice yesterday, so I might be cracking out. But my passion is social justice and community service work, and it doesn't pay very well. So I got into this position where it was like, well, I can either give every dime to daycare and not see my kid, or I can figure out how to stay home. But I didn't want to lose myself. And I wanted to make sure that I had that thing that was just for me as a woman and as just my own person, other than motherhood, because I feel like a lot of times women get put in this box, especially if they choose to stay home, that's your only job. Like, you as a person don't matter anymore. And so I remembered watching my mom have her camera be her thing, right? That was what she did. Would you like to come sit with me? And the reason that it was the best choice is because I got to make my own hours, and it was flexible. And sometimes my little ones would ride on my back in a wrap while I went and did shoots. I mean, it was something that I could do without having to feel like I had to pay for childcare, and my partner worked long hours with a long commute. So there wasn't really an option to just, switch off. And what I really ended up enjoying when I started was families and with little ones, and I'd be their best buddy, and we'd play games, and they would learn how to use the camera. What are you doing? And this, buddy, you can sit with me. Do you want to say hello? This is Max. He's 3. Well, that's because they're not talking right now. It's my turn to talk. I'm talking about taking pictures. Can I come first? Sure. You want to have a turn when I'm done? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then I felt like I was losing some of my social justice passion, though. I was like, okay, but now I'm so focused on making sure that I can get clients and do all of these things, but I'm missing that activism piece. When I served in AmeriCorps, it was all nonprofit activist work, focusing on, bridging the education gap. I'm going to talk to you while I get my son a baseball. I worked in East Palo Alto for a few years teaching, and then I was the director of the Pride Center at my college, the assistant director for a year. And then I realized that I could still do that activism work while I was doing photography. So it's working mom life here. So I ended up hey, Cora, hold on, you guys.
They save all this conversation for when you start talking. That's how they plan it. Don't worry.
Can I just say I love this? This is the workplace we all need.
Yeah.
This is the workplace we all have.
We do it all as women.
Yes, I could have done with this when my boys were younger. It would have taken a lot of pressure off us. So thank you for everybody being a village. I love it.
I mean, this is just the reality.
Trish, I love it.
Did you get one too, Trish?
Well, I have a spare. I figured I could bring one in.
my gosh.
Anyways, so then I realized that I could use my photography work to help nonprofits, because communication is how you get the word out. That's how you get people to donate. That's how you can advertise your services. And so I got connected with some very cool nonprofits that I remember applying to. I applied to work at those amazing places in San Francisco when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was like, I'll never be able to work there because, you know, she decided to come a little earlier. And then I did. I worked there as a volunteer and ended up doing, you know, free marketing and branding work with them, and gained connections and gained experience. And then I got into just general branding work, where I was working with small businesses, realizing that, you know, not just nonprofits don't have all the money or resources to do this, but small businesses, especially solo entrepreneurs, generally don't have a large marketing budget, right? And yes, iPhones are okay at doing some images, but it's a little bit different when you have someone providing you with that support. So that's where my business really shifted. And on March 12th, I actually took a bunch of branding photos for a friend of mine. She took them some of me. And the whole goal was to revamp my entire business to only focus on small businesses. And then a few days later, it was COVID. And so I shifted. And instead, I'm on my patio right now. We live in a little tiny apartment. I don't have a lot of space. And in here is my washing machine. And I set up a studio on top of my washing machine, and now I shoot product. So I was able to, you know, shift a little bit. I open it, we get some good light over here. And now I'm shooting for small companies to make sure that all of their photos are up to Amazon's requirements of having pure white backgrounds, and helping them do their social media and shift their businesses from a lot of the businesses that I'm working with did a lot of their work at like pop-up markets, which weren't happening. And so it was, okay, well, we can't do a pop-up market. We need to get my products online. So COVID just meant that I just had to keep shifting. And I feel like my life has just been like, okay, I was going to do this. Now I'm going to pivot. Now I'm going to pivot. Now I'm going to pivot. And that is just very true as well. But I really think the only way that I've been able to survive this and get through all these pivots is when I moved to Livermore and I started this business. I didn't know anybody. We didn't have any family here. We moved here to be for proximity for my partner's job, and that was it. And it wasn't until I found a group of women business owners. We were all solopreneurs. We decided we're just going to meet regularly just so we have a system of support. So when we have a meeting, it's cool when our kids are climbing all over us, and we would sometimes bring our kids with us and let them play, and we would talk strategy. And it's really that system of support that made the biggest difference for me. And that's why I'm so excited about this project, because I worked really hard to build that system of support. I couldn't just go find it. And so you're providing a service that I think is going to be so valuable for women in business. And, you know, this is a little bit unrelated, but I have been following what's happening in Livermore with the homeless subcommittee, and somebody said something that the number one cause of homelessness is loss of connection to family and community. And I really thought a little bit about that and how that connected to my life, and how the number one reason that small businesses maybe succeed is because they have that community. Maybe that's not why they fail, is because they don't have it. But I feel like a big driver of success, whether it's you know, economic or social or education, is when you have a built-in community. So it's really hard to have that when the traditional systems of networking are really, you know, you walk into a big room and everybody's wine tasting, and it feels like you're walking into a in-person pop-up ad of buy my stuff, take my card, here's my number. And it's like, I just want some friends. Like, can we just talk about how difficult this is to do it alone? And have your munchkins and do all those other things. So, you know, I'm really, really excited for this project. I know that it's going to be deeply, deeply beneficial to the Livermore community and the entire Tri-Valley as a whole. So I appreciate you having me here. And I look forward to being part of this community.
Thank you, Brittany. We're so happy to have you here and all of you here.
Brittany, can I ask Brittany, talk to Brittany.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Brittany, I just wanted to, I'm Rosie Fierro. I just wanted to say that I used to be a photographer as well and did the same thing. I started out, I was a really young mom. I had a baby when I was in high school, and my mom bought me a camera, and it just, yeah. And so that's what I did a lot of photography up until I started my winery. And I also have a degree in psychology.
I mean, I say now that it's like a very, I'm paying off very expensive therapy that I had lots of years ago.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll save me money on therapy later. But I think what even though, you know, people talk about, oh, well, you're not even doing what you went to school for. I think, you know, it's everything builds into your basket, and it gives me a perspective to allow to connect to people, whether it's behind a camera or at a community organizing meeting. So
totally. And I also started out of desperation a women winemakers group in Livermore Valley, just because, you know, there's only like 7 of us. And
yeah.
It's such a different challenge being a woman in this business. Like, I mean, guys can just walk up and pick up a barrel, no problem. You know, when you have to move a carboy, like a 5-gallon carboy full of wine, it's like, it needs to be picked up and put on a bucket, then onto your hip, then onto your other hip. You know, it's like, it's just, just different challenges and things. And it's just been it's just really great to meet somebody, you know, other women that do the same thing and just bounce ideas off each other and just, you know, like you said.
Yeah, and even though we're not in the same business, you know, I'm not in wine, I know nothing about wine, that doesn't mean that we can't share our experiences and learn from each other, which is why I think it's so cool, because the groups that I've already been a part of are very focused in the creative community. So artists and photographers, a lot of wedding industry people as well. But I think it's going to be really great to see all the different facets of business and the different industries and the women in our community, and how we can connect even deeper. So
it's great.
Rosa, thank you for mentioning your wine vintners group, because I meant to ask you about it and I actually neglected to. But that was a great insight, and truly like from the get-go, like physically we are different from men, and the way emotionally we're different. And so I think the whole gamut, there are so many small and big differences that cause us to need a different kind of networking, a different kind of social circle while we build our businesses and our communities. And with that, thank you, Brittany, so much for sharing what you did today and about your work, about your life. And it was lovely to hear you. I would like to pass it on to Shailaja to introduce Trish, who so kindly joined us today.
Thank you for joining us. Are you all able to hear me clearly? Great. So it's my honor to introduce Trish Monroe, who's a city council member with Livermore, and we really appreciate the presence and the import of Trish joining us, because we need every bit of support to build this village. And a few lines to just introduce Trish. Trish Monroe was elected to the City Council in 2018 and serves on the Association of Bay Area Governments General Assembly, Livermore Cultural Arts Council, and the Livermore Council Subcommittee on Homelessness. She brings long experience in studying and nurturing communities to the Livermore City Council. And Trish, we are very truly appreciative of you taking time out to be here and bringing someone along with you. We should have issued a formal invite had we known it.
I didn't know this until last night, actually. So thank you for having me. So I am so appreciative of women everywhere, and appreciative of being here. Actually, the member of the City Council who generally is sort of the liaison to businesses is Bob Warner. And he does a wonderful job, but I don't think he qualifies for this particular group. I also wanted to mention, it occurred to me as you're talking about women, the special needs of women, I actually joined Rotary sometime in the course of, between around the time I was running for office. And as I'm listening to you, a lot of Rotary was actually founded for the same reasons. I would actually suggest, not as a replacement for, but it is another avenue in. It absolutely doesn't replace the needs of a group of strong women working together, supporting each other with needs like this. So, because we get this in ways, I think, that are still culturally derived. I mean, we can talk about the fact that all society should take care of children, but here's the reality. This is where we are. So my background is, this is my actually not my youngest grandchild, but one. And I too stayed home, and like Brittany, I looked at the amount of money I'd spend in daycare, and I said, it's just not worth it. I'm better off giving back to my community. That comes with a high cost for those people who do stay home. It comes at a cost for that work's not recognized as real work. And we as a society support those people who are making a wage in particular professions. So my Social Security is not what Social Security ought to be. And I think that's a real problem. So that's a whole other story. As my kids got older, I went to grad school. I have a PhD in sociology. And my work in the community was largely in congregations, my synagogue, to be specific, which led me to looking at how communities function from individuals like all of us, and then from the top down with laws, with structure, and so on. It's work I use every day. So Brittany said that she very expensive therapy. Fact is that these kinds of education, particularly in social sciences, are enormously valuable in helping us all navigate the social world. The work I do in City Council we can talk about, but one of the things I really feel strongly about is bringing in the underserved, the underrepresented. I think, I don't know that Brittany's mentioned it, I don't know if you know, but Brittany's running for District 3. I'm strongly encouraging her because my belief is all leaders, this is my district, by the way, my belief is all leaders of any kind have a responsibility to bring forward others, that we're all better when we work together, but also that the next generation, this one who is like 2 down, we have a responsibility to take care of and then build them so they can go forward. And that's what I feel my primary role is. And that's what I hope I can do with all of you. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, this is Colin.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
He's so quiet. How did he get so quiet?
No idea. This one is pure trouble. When I went off to get him, just because I wanted a kid on my lap, he's got, so his parents are currently off. They're actually moving out of Livermore so they can go do restorative agriculture, and they're off looking for a place in the meantime. They took one of the kids, 2 of them are upstairs doing their own thing. They're older. They were supposed to be watching him. I went up there to get him, and he actually had a AA battery in his mouth. So I'm really glad I went to get him. This is what our real lives are like, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. And I wanted to just, I was listening to what you were saying, and the part you were talking about all of us having a responsibility of bringing others in and amplifying voices. That is definitely something that TriValleyWEB is very much invested in, to really, exploring where the margins are and bringing everybody to the center. So, if there's any, we're really listening, learning, and trying to build it in a way that feels inclusive. So I want to just share out that, as ideas come, or if you have feedback, or if you have ways that, you feel this could be more inclusive, more in alignment with what we need to do, please reach out to Deepti or us, or, it is very welcome. We are building it. This is not like, this is how it is and please fit in. It is really, we want to build it such that it includes all of us. And all different kinds of small businesses. I'm so thrilled by the variety and the diversity and the stories we are hearing. Our stories are so different and yet they're so aligned. Like, how many times are we all nodding our heads? It's amazing. So I know we have about 10 minutes. Deepti, would you mind if I asked a question? Because I had a question of all our lovely guests today. Because we are talking about challenges and our journeys and all the things that we've, we are all kind of processing and figuring our way around, over or under. And I was wondering, what does everyone see as their point of resilience? Like, how are you building your resilience? Or what is your strength? How are you tapping into it? It would be really wonderful to hear any thoughts around it. Because we see it. I mean, I can hear it in the stories and I can see it in the work. And I'm just wondering, what is it that keeps everyone ticking and going? We'd just love to hear from anyone who feels up to sharing.
I can address that for real. So Trish did mention that I am running, and but this isn't about that. This is about small business. And but the thing is that in every single thing that I've done, I've worked on trying to create community that was going through something similar. So I focused a lot on creating community of women that were in creative fields, right? We have a very different business model than someone who runs an insurance agency. It's not that we can't learn from that business, but it's good to have someone who knows how to be, a contract worker. It's a different kind of work. So, as I'm on this journey, I've searched out other women who are in office or are running for office. So having mentors like Trish has been so valuable to me. And so whether it's in business, in motherhood, whatever it is, I think seeking out mentorship is something that we need to societally look at, something that's valued rather than a weakness. Like when I ask for help, that's not a weakness, that's a strength in me. That's me knowing that I don't know everything and finding a mentor. And so I've been so lucky to have so many mentors in my life. And I feel like it is now my responsibility, the things that I know and learned, to pass that on to young community organizers who are doing work now that are teenagers, right? So whatever your struggle is, I guarantee somebody else is going through it. And just like, I had a total breakdown yesterday. I was like, this is hard. COVID sucks. My kids are driving me crazy. And it's okay that even though I'm like a strong woman and I can do it all, we also break down and we need that system of support, that sisterhood to text somebody up and be like, oh my gosh, today was terrible. And then, you know what? Then we'll have, and it doesn't mean that we need to go to coffee or go wine tasting together. I mean, we should go wine tasting with Rose at Rosa's place, but that's not what it's about, right? It's like, it doesn't mean we need to have, these girls' trips to have that support. It means that we need to just be honest with ourselves and with our systems so that we can all be vulnerable, because through vulnerability, that's how you gain strength.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we hope to achieve also through TriValleyWEB, is to create those very synergies between people who are starting out versus who've been here, done that, and know a thing or two, and for them to share in various ways through our workshops or through if we can set up if we can find mentorships that work, we'd love to facilitate those through TriValleyWEB as well. But so thank you so much, Brittany, for saying that.
I'd like to, can I add into that as well? That was really, so I think, I don't know how old everyone is, but I'm certainly on the older end if I'm not the oldest. And so I have to think back before, to when I was raising my children, and which is probably, and I had them fairly young. So I think that is where, like, as Brady said, this business of being vulnerable, I belonged to co-ops, women's co-op, mothers co-ops, where we shared babysitting and we, and so on. And we did that. That is the place where I think it all began. is there. And there's two words I have, which are pear brandy. And that was what would happen when we had one of those days. It's like, I need to come over for pear brandy. And don't ask me where I can tell you where the pear brandy came from, but that's a whole other story. But the point is that having those moments where you can just say, I desperately need some support. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
I also wanted to, since we have a few business owners on here, small business owners, I was just also wondering, Trish, if you could share a little bit about anything that the city has been doing to help small businesses through COVID.
I can share a little bit. This is where actually Bob Warner would be better, because he's working very directly with the small businesses. But I know that we are working towards small business loans. We're working towards. We really, I mean, I got to tell you, the things I feel for most are the salons. It kills me. It just absolutely kills me. Partly because I literally want to get my hair cut, but also because I really, really do understand that there are, there's a whole lot of businesses that are open that seem to me to have the same level of concern, and it just feels very unfortunate, let's say. But what we're working on is just working with the city to get it open as quickly as possible. We're working on small business loans that we can help with. We're working on trying to support in other ways that we can. But it's really challenging because we are really under the control of the county and of the state and then of the feds. We don't have that much money to help with. This is a place where you really need all the layers of government working together, and they're not right now. Very, very definitely not. The thing that I have been doing personally is simply asking people. Want to get down? Sorry. Want to go see the boy? Honey, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Has been. Sorry. Just asking individuals to wear the mask thing. I mean, that's been my big thing, because we actually can get this under control. I know that masks have the ability to cut this transmission by at least 70 to 90%. If we all wore masks, we could virtually open up entirely. That's what we're doing. I feel like it's just not even close to enough. I know it's not close to enough. So get your neighbors to wear their masks.
So guys, thank you so much for coming today. I'm still processing everything that I've heard, and it's a whole lot of wisdom, and I can already see how each of you is going to enrich TriValleyWEB, and we hope to do much more in the coming months, and hope that you will all be part of our journey with this project. And I hope that one of these days we can actually come to Livermore downtown and experience some of these small businesses that enrich the entire Bay Area.
Yes. Yeah. And I love Livermore downtown. It is so nice, really, really nice.
A wonderful downtown.
Yes, it's so beautiful.
Like I was telling Trish, we show up for all the marches over there. Like
it
been
is
there.
It's a great downtown too, because it's almost all small businesses on First Street that are. There's not really any big chains down there, which is really nice. So it's like a very personal feeling in downtown Livermore. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, you can feel it.
It actually kills me that right after we had permission to go, right after we got things underway to make the Stockman's Park and all the cultural core going, this hit, and just trying to keep everybody afloat during this time it's such a heavy lift.
Yes, I think we should acknowledge that actually this is impacting so many things, and it's just this added layer of it's like a daily processing. You know, because there's no blueprint to managing it, and there is no scheduled date when you will be over it, and that's not how we are designed to operate. So we have to suspend so much and yet be efficient and effective daily in and out. That is a wear and tear on us right there. So thank you for saying that.
Very, very well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think for all of us, our resolve to do this work and work with small businesses has only has increased several fold through this COVID crisis, because we had a very different vision of how we were going to bring TriValleyWEB to all of you and how we were going to make these connections in person, in rooms. But here we are, sitting virtually and trying to connect. But still, I feel like for me, this has been a very rewarding experience personally, because I've called several business owners and talked to them. I've gotten to know so many through the process of just these rollouts, and it's been and recruiting them to join us on the directory. So it's been it's been a very, very wonderful experience for all of us, and I thank all of you for joining us today. And if anyone has any last words, please before we break, I welcome you. But otherwise, this is it for me. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having us.
Take care.
Thank you. I've got noise in the background, but I look forward to the next. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Bye. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Rosa. Bye, Vivian. Thank you for coming.
I think Vivian said she had to drop. She's still there.
She looks, her video is off, but I don't know if she...
You want to stop recording, Deepti, and the live stream?
Oh my God, yes, I do. How do I stop the live stream?
You just go back to the, on the top, you should see it on the right side of your screen. Oh, sorry, left side. It should say live streaming happening, not screaming. Screening.